I met him the night I decided to walk home alone. It was stupid. I knew that. The campus was quiet, too quiet, and my phone was dead in my hand like it had given up before I did. I remember thinking I should have called someone. Anyone. Then the footsteps started. Low. Controlled. Not chasing me. Just following. I didn't turn around at first. I told myself I was imagining it. That fear was playing tricks on me. But when my reflection appeared in the dark glass of a closed bookstore, I saw him. Dressed in black. Standing far enough away to pretend he wasn't watching me. My heart began to race. I crossed the street. So did he. He sped up. His steps stayed calm. When I finally stopped under a broken streetlight and spun around, my voice came out shaky. "Why are you following me?" He didn't answer right away. He looked at me like I was something fragile, something already cracked. "I'm not following you," he said quietly. "I'm making sure you get home." Something about the way he said it made my skin prickle. I didn't ask how he knew where I lived. I didn't ask why he smiled when I thanked him. I just walked. And somehow, he always stayed behind me. The next morning I found the note. It was folded neatly on my desk, right on top of my notebook, as if someone had broken into my dorm room just to leave it there. No name. No number. Just 4 words written in careful, patient handwriting. "Lock your window tonight." My stomach dropped. I checked the lock immediately. It was already closed. I told myself it was a prank. Some cruel joke from someone in my building. But when I looked up from the paper, I noticed something else. My curtain had been moved. Only a little. Just enough to show the edge of the glass. I hadn't touched it that morning. I spent the entire day trying to forget the man from last night, trying to convince myself the note meant nothing. But every time I walked across campus, I felt eyes on me. Not hungry eyes. Not curious. Protective. That evening I locked my window. And my door. And the bathroom. I lay in bed with the lights off, staring at the ceiling, counting every sound in the hallway. At 2:13 a.m. my phone vibrated. Unknown number. Good girl. I dropped the phone. I didn't sleep. By morning my nerves were so tight they hurt. I skipped class and sat in the library instead, hiding between shelves like paper walls could protect me. That's when I saw him again. He was standing by the window on the 2nd floor, pretending to read a book he never opened. Same black coat. Same calm posture. This time when he looked up and met my eyes, he didn't smile. He nodded. Like we already knew each other. I left the library shaking and went straight back to my dorm. Heart pounding so hard I thought I might faint. There was another note on my door. This one shorter. "You should stop running." My hands trembled as I tore it open, searching for cameras, for footprints, for anything. Nothing. When I turned around, he was standing at the end of the hallway. Not close. Not far. Blocking the only exit. People passed between us, laughing, talking, unaware that my entire world had just narrowed to one man. He raised his voice just enough for me to hear. "I told you I'd keep you safe," I whispered. "From what?" His eyes darkened. "From me." I don't remember walking back to my room. I only remember his eyes following me the entire way, never blinking, never moving, like if he looked away for 1 second something terrible would happen. Inside my dorm I locked the door and slid down against it, shaking. How did he know where I lived? How did he know my number? I told myself I was being dramatic. That maybe he was security. Cop. Someone hired by the school. But then I noticed the 3rd note on my desk. "You forgot to breathe when you saw me." My chest tightened. No one had been inside. I was sure of it. And yet the paper was there, warm like it had just been touched. That night I heard footsteps in the hallway again. They stopped outside my door. I held my breath. Minutes passed. Then a soft knock. Once. I didn't move. My phone vibrated. "Open it." Tears burned my eyes. I typed back before I could stop myself. "Please leave me alone." 3 dots appeared. Then, "I can't." The next day I tried to report him. Campus security listened politely while I explained the notes, the messages, the man in the hallway. They nodded, wrote things down, promised to look into it. When I showed them the number, their expressions changed. "That's not a real line," one of them said slowly. "It doesn't belong to any carrier." Cold spread through me. On my way out, my phone buzzed again. "You shouldn't talk about us." I froze in the middle of the hallway. I didn't answer. "They won't protect you," the message continued. "They don't know what's coming." Ran. I skipped class again and hid in the cafeteria, surrounded by noise and people and light, trying to disappear into normal life. That's when the chair across from me slid back. He sat down without asking. Up close, he was even more unsettling. Late 20s, scar on his jaw. Eyes too calm for someone who had been haunting me for days. "You're not supposed to run," he said gently. My voice broke. "Who are you?" He studied my face like he was memorizing it. "Someone who already saved your life once." I laughed. Came out hysterical, sharp, wrong. "You're stalking me," I whispered. "You're terrifying me." He didn't deny it. Instead, he leaned closer, lowering his voice. "3 nights ago, when you walked home, there was a man behind me." My blood went cold. "Not watching," he continued quietly. "Following. Faster than I was. Knife in his pocket." I stared at him, unable to breathe. "I scared him away," he said. "He'll try again." I shook my head. "You're lying." He pulled out his phone and slid it across the table. On the screen was a blurry photo. Me. From behind. Taken 3 nights ago. And behind me. Shadow. A man I had never seen. "You were never alone," he said softly. "You just didn't know who your monster was." Tears slipped down my face. "Why me?" I whispered. For the first time, something dark flickered across his expression. "Because," he said, "he thinks you belong to him." He reached out and brushed my wrist with his thumb. "And I decided he's wrong." I didn't let him walk me home. I told myself I was still in control, that agreeing to sit with him for 5 minutes in the cafeteria didn't mean I trusted him. But when I stood up, my hands were shaking, and I hated how relieved I felt when he followed a few steps behind me anyway. We didn't speak. He kept his distance, just close enough that no one else walked between us. At my door, I turned to thank him, but the words died in my throat. He was already looking past me. His hand shot out and grabbed my wrist, pulling me back against his chest. "Don't," he whispered. Froze. A man stood at the end of the hallway. Older. Thinner. Baseball cap pulled low over his face. The stranger's posture changed instantly. Not relaxed. Ready. The man in the cap took 1 step toward us. And then, slowly, he turned around and disappeared down the stairs. My knees buckled. The stranger didn't let go of me. "Now," he murmured against my ear, "do you understand why I don't leave you alone?" That night, I let him sit in the chair by my door. I didn't invite him inside. He didn't ask. He just stayed silent, watching the hallway while I lay on my bed pretending I wasn't terrified. Around midnight, I whispered, "What's your name?" "Oz." "Daniel," he said. I don't know why, but I believed him. Sleep came in fragments. Every time I opened my eyes, he was still there, unmoving like a shadow glued to my room. At 3:40 a.m., he stood up suddenly. "Get dressed," he said. My heart leapt. "Why?" "Because he's in the building." Panic flooded me. "How do you know?" "I've been tracking him longer than he's been tracking you." I stared at him. "That doesn't make me feel better." "It shouldn't," he said calmly. He opened my window. "Come with me," he said. "Now." I hesitated. Then footsteps sounded in the hallway. Low. Searching. Daniel held out his hand. For the first time. Took it. We climbed down the fire escape in silence. The metal was cold under my bare feet, the night air biting into my skin. He guided me the entire way, steady, careful, like he had done this before. Outside, a dark car waited at the curb. "Stop. Where are you taking me?" "Somewhere safe." "You said that before." "And you're still alive," he replied. He opened the passenger door. I didn't move. He sighed quietly, then did something unexpected. He knelt in front of me. Not dramatic, not pleading, just honest. I know you don't trust me, he said softly. You shouldn't. But if you stay here tonight, he will come through that door. My throat closed. How do you know all this? I whispered. His jaw tightened. Because 3 months ago, he said. He killed a girl who looked just like you. My world tilted. I failed her. Silence swallowed us. I won't fail you, Daniel said. The footsteps echoed above us. Closer. Climbed into the car. And the moment the door shut, the locks clicked automatically. I didn't ask where we were going. The city blurred past the windows, streetlights melting into gold lines as the car moved faster than it should have. My hands were clenched in my lap, my heart still beating in my throat. After 10 minutes I realized something. We weren't heading toward the highway. We were going deeper into the city. Daniel, I whispered. This isn't the way out. I know. Fear crept back into my chest. Then where are we going? My place. I turned to him sharply. You said somewhere safe. This is safe. For you, I said. He finally looked at me. Something in his expression softened. For you too. I promise. I wanted to believe him. The building we stopped in front of was old brick, forgotten by the city. No lights in most of the windows. Inside his apartment was bare. No pictures. No decorations. Just a couch, a table, and a wall covered in photographs. Of me. From campus. From the street. From my dorm window. My knees nearly gave out. You've been watching me longer than he has, I whispered. Daniel closed the door behind us. Yes, he said quietly. I told you I was protecting you, he continued. My voice shook. This isn't protection. This is obsession. He didn't argue. He walked to the wall and took one photo down. Another girl stared back at me. Same hair, same height, same nervous smile. The one he killed, Daniel said. My stomach twisted. She was my sister. Silence crashed between us. He followed her for months, Daniel went on. I thought she was paranoid. I thought she was exaggerating. His jaw tightened. I was wrong. He met my eyes. When I saw you on campus, I thought I was losing my mind. You look like her, I whispered. Too much, he said. I hugged myself, shaking. So you chose me instead? No, he said slowly. I chose to save you. And the pictures? Yes. I needed to know your routine, your habits, your fears. My voice dropped. You learned them too well. He stepped closer. Because if I lose you too, he said quietly, there won't be anything human left in me. I slept in his bed that night. Not because I trusted him. Because I was too afraid to sleep anywhere else. He stayed on the floor, his back against the door, a knife in his hand. At dawn, sirens wailed somewhere far away. Daniel stiffened. He checked his phone. Then his face changed. What? Yes. He found you, he said. My blood froze. How? He followed the fire escape, Daniel murmured. He's smarter than I thought. A knock echoed through the apartment. Low, heavy, deliberate. Daniel stood. Go into the bathroom, he whispered. Lock it. Don't come out no matter what you hear. My legs wouldn't move. Another knock. Closer. Daniel, I whispered. What if he kills you? Daniel looked back at me. And for the first time, he smiled. Not gentle. Not kind. The kind of smile that belongs to monsters. Then, he said softly, you'll finally understand why he's afraid of me. The lock clicked. And the door began to open. The first shot came before the door was fully open. The sound exploded through the apartment, sharp and deafening, and I screamed, stumbling backward into the bathroom as Daniel shoved me inside and slammed the door shut. I locked it with shaking hands. Outside voices collided. A man's laughter. Daniel's low, steady breathing. Something heavy hit the wall. Glass shattered. I covered my mouth to keep from crying out, sliding down against the tub, my entire body trembling. Minutes stretched into eternity. Then silence. No footsteps. No voices. Just the sound of my own heartbeat. "Daniel!" I whispered. No answer. I pressed my ear to the door. A soft knock answered me. Once. My stomach twisted. "Open it," Daniel's voice said quietly. I hesitated. "What if it's him pretending to be you?" I whispered. "Was." Then softly. "Because he's not breathing anymore." My hands shook as I unlocked the door. The apartment smelled like metal. Blood stained the floor. And Daniel stood in the center of it, calm, unhurt, holding a gun I had never seen before. The man in the baseball cap lay twisted near the doorway. Police came. So did questions. Daniel told them everything. About his sister. About the stalking. About how he recognized the pattern. They called him a hero. They let him go. They never asked how he knew the fire escape would be used. They never asked how he knew the exact night the man would come. I stayed with Daniel. I told myself it was temporary. Trauma does strange things to people. He moved me into a different apartment. Safer. Higher. With locks on every window. He chose my classes. My routes. My friends. "I'm just being careful," he would say. And I let him. Because every night when I woke up from nightmares, he was already awake, watching the door, protecting me, loving me in the only way he knew how. I told myself this was what survival looked like. 3 months later I found the truth. It was an old police report, hidden in a box under his bed. Not about the man who died. About his sister. Cause of death. Overdose. No suspect. No stalker. No knife. My hands went numb. The photos on his wall. The ones of me. They were dated weeks before the first night I met him. He hadn't recognized me on campus. He had already chosen me. I confronted him that night, my voice breaking, the report shaking in my hands. "You lied," I whispered. He didn't deny it. He only looked relieved. "You were going to leave," he said softly. I couldn't let that happen. Terror flooded me. "You killed him." "No," Daniel said gently. "I saved you." "From who?" cried. He stepped closer, touching my cheek with trembling fingers. "From a world that would take you away from me." Ran. They never found my body. They never found Daniel. Sometimes when I wake up in strange cities, in unfamiliar rooms, with locked doors and new names, I still feel him watching. Still feel his hand on my wrist. Still hear his voice in the dark. "You're safe now," he whispers. And the worst part is that somewhere deep inside me, I'm no longer sure if I'm still trying to escape.